African leaders meeting in Niger's capital have called for a doubling of efforts to promote industrialization on the continent. The leaders, including Nigeria's Muhammadu Buhari, Rwanda's Paul Kagame and Zimbabwe's Emerson Mnangagwa, made the call during an extraordinary summit on industrialization and economic diversification. The leaders also urged increased private sector participation in areas such as agriculture, agro-industry, health, education, infrastructure and especially energy, which are key to advancing industry. The summit later held a discussion on trade with a focus on the Continental Free Trade Area. The operational phase of the zone, which aims to unlock billions of dollars in intra-African trade, commenced last year, but has had a slow start due to the coronavirus pandemic. Every November 20th is commemorated as Africa Industrialization Day. The continent is the world's least industrialized.
With its dimmed lights and wrought iron candle holders, beaded lampshades, and a repertoire of 1930s and 1940s jazz and blues on loop, Rick's Cafe has become a must-see attraction for tourists from all over the world wishing to experience the classic Hollywood Casablanca. Rick's Cafe is the scene of the romantic love story.
Part of the power of the movie is that most of it takes place inside Rick's Cafe. There are very few other scenes that take place outside, and the drama unfolds there, and it's an intimate space, and they use light in very sophisticated ways. People are in dark, people are shrouded in light, and you're invited to make decisions about who's good and who's bad.
It was in 2004 that a former American diplomat had the idea of recreating the nightclub in the Medina of Casablanca.
I don't think when they made it, they didn't set out to make propaganda. They meant to make sort of a wartime noir film with a compelling love story, but its location ended up making it part of the war itself, because so the film is finished in August 1942. Jack Warner, who's the head of Warner Brothers Studios, has a marketing problem because the Americans don't know where Casablanca is. I mean, the American familiarity with Morocco and North Africa is very limited. Well, Operation Torch kind of solved that problem for him, because on the morning of November 8th, the American public woke up to reports that the Western Task Force, 33,000 American soldiers, were coming ashore in French Morocco, and their goal was to seize Casablanca.
Complete with cocktails and piano, the venue is modeled on Blaine's eponymous bar and became an instant hit with tourists when it opened its doors.
On the outskirts of Dhaka, football is a passion for both adults and children. Young players here hope to one day emulate their idols, currently competing at the FIFA World Cup 2022 in Qatar. Every afternoon in the town of Niamey, Sikambao, young fans gather on a football field made of rubble and garbage to play their favorite game. There was a time when this ground was underwater. To get it back, we had to fill it with garbage and sand so that we could play here again. Playgrounds like this flood every time it rains, but football enthusiasts use debris to reclaim them. Nobody thought that one day the children could play here. Besides, the school children do their sports classes here. We often had trouble using the grounds in other neighborhoods, and even the sports ground in the local military camp. It is really difficult sometimes. Nothing stops the Senegalese from enjoying their football. The hope is that nothing stops their national team at the World Cup.
Senegal have given Africa its first victory at the World Cup. The Teranga Lions defeated Qatar on Friday in Doha, with Boulaye Dia opening the scoring just before halftime before Famara Diédhiou, a surprise starter for Aliou Cissé, doubled the scoring after the break. Staring defeat in the face, the host country labored half an hour to react. The header of Qatari player of Ghanaian descent, Mohamed Montari, revived the suspense, but the newcomer, Bamba Dieng, extinguished any hopes for the Qataris, who now face elimination from their group. Other group members, Netherlands and Ecuador, slug it out a little later this evening. The South Americans will be the next opponents of the Senegalese in a key match expected to secure qualification for Senegal next Tuesday.
A scramble to get home. All available transport means were at work, ferrying students and their belongings. Schools in Uganda closed on Friday, 2 weeks ahead of schedule, as authorities raced to stop an Ebola outbreak from spreading in crowded places.
It was like somewhat shocking because we weren't prepared about the closure, but we had to adhere with it.
I think this early closure was really necessary because of the situation, the Ebola situation in the country. And we know, yes, children are usually safer with us.
A Ministry of Education directive ordered all pre-primary, primary and secondary schools to close from November 25th after 23 Ebola cases were confirmed among pupils. 8 children have succumbed to the virus, according to the Ministry of Health.